Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is my first live video, so I'm really excited. So I just wanted to take some time to kind of introduce myself and what I do and a little bit of background on how I got here, right? So I help people transition from employment to freelancing. And I guess I kind of have always had this entrepreneurial spirit. So to kind of, I guess, rewind to the beginning. Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining. And if you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay. So I guess I started when I was really young with like these kind of random business ideas. I used to go, we had these like friendship bracelets, right? And it used to be a really popular thing. We'd make friendship bracelets. And I had this book that had these crazy designs. I got really into it. And people at school would always ask me to make them for them. So I was like, okay, I had this great idea. I was like 7 or something. I'm going to make these and people are going to buy them, right? So I lived on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, like a dirt road off of a dirt road. And I'm like, I had all these sheets set up with marker and I would put prices for different things. So like a ring would be 25 cents, a bracelet would be 75 cents, custom orders for like $2. And I would tape a little sample to the paper and I would just ride my bike around, and it was like a half mile to the nearest house. Ride my bike around and I would stick these in people's mailboxes, and I don't think I ever got a single sale. I'm pretty sure I never sold a bracelet, but it kind of just, that's always where I've been. I've always been in this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, right? So a little while later, I got into building computers. I built my first computer. I made it for myself. And that was back when PCs were really expensive, but parts were cheap. So you could actually go to the store and buy parts and build a computer for, you know, maybe $100, a couple $100, and you could sell them for like 500 or 600. So when I was like 9 or 10, I started building and selling computers. And at that point, I lived in North Carolina, and I was surrounded by colleges and universities, and there were tons of college students, you know, who were looking for cheaper computers. So I actually advertised in local newspapers, and I made quite a bit of money doing that. I remember paying my own cell phone bill, and just having a cell phone at that age was awesome. And I really kind of saw the benefit to having this financial freedom. Like I was making my own money, and I was like 10, right? So I could spend it on things that I wanted. I didn't have to go to my parents and ask for stuff. And I was doing something that I liked doing. I really liked building computers. There was this challenge to it, and I was good at it, right? So I guess fast forward, oh, I had another one. I got an ambassadorship program to go to Australia when I was 11. And I had to come up with $400 or $500 I was supposed to bring with me. So I went on the computer and I printed out this list of things that I could offer, right? Skills that I could offer. So what was it? Like babysitting, lawn care, house cleaning, whatever. And I printed it out on the computer so that nobody could see by my handwriting how young I was. It looked really professional. I had the little tabs at the bottom where you write your phone number, and people could rip off the tabs, and I put them in grocery stores. And people would call my house. My parents would answer the phone. They'd have to call me out of the phone. I'd try to sound older than I was. And I remember the first client that I got, I was 11, right? So I walked to his house after school. And I remember when he called me, he was disappointed to find that I was a female. Just on the phone right away, he had like yard work to do. And he usually would hire like a 17-year-old guy to come and do, you know, kind of, it's like some heavy lifting and stuff like that. So he was a little disappointed when he heard that I was a girl, right? And then I show up and I'm 11. He was not happy. And I was like, okay, just, you know, show me what you want me to do, and then let me do it. And if you're not happy with the work that I'm doing, just don't pay me, you know, just let me try, right? So he gave me this almost insurmountable list. I mean, I don't know what I think he was kind of trying to drive me away from, or just to kind of prove that I couldn't do it, right? So I got there after school. It was like 2:30, and I started in on this list, and I worked really, really hard. I grew up on a farm, so it wasn't that hard for me, but I worked really hard. And he finally came outside. It was after dark, so it was probably like 7:30 at night, and he was like, I can't believe that you're still here. but you're still doing this. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you gave me this list of work to do, and I'm here to do it. That's what I'm here to do. Of course I'm doing it. And he was so impressed. He offered me $15 an hour. He wanted me to come over every single day after school. And I ended up babysitting his kids and cleaning his house and, or his grandkids, sorry. And him and his wife would pay me to go places with them and their grandkids just to have, like an extra person there. So I got to do some like really fun stuff. And $15 an hour at 11 years old, I think I made, I don't know, like $3,000 in just a couple months. It was amazing, right? So that really kind of, I guess that's the foundation of my entrepreneurial spirit, right? So then I got into high school, and I did really well in academics, but I wanted to do something different. I didn't feel like that was going to benefit me in the long run so much. I can learn this stuff on my own. I'm not really getting any skills from this, right? So I went to my guidance counselor, and I asked if I could go to VOTEC, like to BOCES, to do vocational studies. And they told me no. You're on this academic path. You have great test scores. You've always done really well in school. This is your track. You are going to college, basically. I wasn't really given that choice. So I was really disappointed by that. But I stayed on that track. I graduated from school. I started going to college. While I was in college, I was working full time. And I kind of, followed the path, I guess, that I was supposed to. I started in corporate employment. I worked for a corporate bank, Bank of Oklahoma subsidiary. And I had some issues there that really kind of started this journey of freelancing. I didn't work well within corporate policy, right? So I'll give you an example. I had an elderly client come in, and she was on a fixed income. I think she had Social Security checks that would come in once or twice a month. And for whatever reason, her deposit came in a little bit late. It was like 2 days late, and she had a bill come out before that. So as I'm sure you have all experienced before, she had that snowball effect of overdraft fees, right? So it started at the time, it was like $25 for an overdraft fee. It snowballed into like $400. So she's going through her check register. She clearly had everything mapped out exactly as it was supposed to be. And again, fixed income. So, she knows exactly how much is coming in, exactly how much is going out, and what she can afford. And she wasn't spending any extra money, and she tracked it really well. But this happened, and it wasn't the bank's fault that this happened. We weren't in charge of the deposit. They just had, for whatever reason, sent it out late. And she wasn't, she was an elderly woman. She wasn't going on her app, on her smartphone, to check her balance online. So she didn't know that it came in late. So she did everything right, but the bank wasn't at fault. And we're not supposed to refund overdraft fees in that type of scenario. But there was no way that she was going to get ahead, right, without some kind of help. So I talked to my boss, and he was always kind of on the same level as me. I don't think either one of us really ever belonged in corporate employment, but we ended up refunding her everything, and we both got in a lot of trouble for it. And that was kind of a regular occurrence there. So I started to notice this trend, right, in corporate employment, where there's this short-sightedness. Okay, so we lost, maybe $300-400 of revenue by refunding her that. But she developed such a strong sense of loyalty, not just to our bank, but to our specific branch and me and that manager as individuals. And about a year later, she had a windfall, and she came in and brought, I think it was like $45,000. She brought all of those deposits to us. There was a bank right across the street. This was in 2008. So banks were looking for deposits. There was a bank right across the street that had like an 8% CD that she should have gone with. It was a way higher return than what we were offering. And she was like, I like you guys. You've always been there for me. I want to bring this money here. I trust you. So we ended up, she also brought her son and her son's wife in. They ended up securing a mortgage through us and a home equity loan. We ended up making a ton of money from that, right? But really, I mean, when we got in trouble for refunding those overdraft fees, it was like this $300 loss, when in reality, we made thousands of dollars in the long run by, doing the right thing and investing in these clients and doing what was right for them. So I really started to see this trend, right? There's this corporate mindset where you are, you're working for shareholders. You're not necessarily working for clients. You are looking at the next quarter. What are the numbers going to look like in the next quarter? Not what are they going to look like 2 years from now. It's literally what's going on in the next quarter. What can we show our shareholders? And it's all short term. So you don't really get to focus on building a business that provides value and has the right type of growth, right? And it also just didn't really sit well with me. I worked for another company in the corporate space after that, and it was the same thing. It was like, you're working for the shareholders, you're trying to make money for them, and that's it. And that's not where I don't have passion in that, and I don't really think most people do. I mean, you can work a corporate job that you absolutely love, and the job I had after that was in the IT space. I love the people I worked with. They actually created a title and a specific job for me based on my particular interests and my talents, and it was great, but I wanted to leave anyway. And I was planning on moving back to New York. This job was in California, and I kind of used that as an excuse to leave. So like, I'm moving, I have to quit this job, right? And they gave me like 4 different offers that were incredible. And I kept turning them down, and and I was saying, I'm moving, period. There's no way, whatever. They finally offered me a position where I would be able to move, I would work from home, and they would pay for me to travel there, once every month or two to work in the office. And so I'd get like basically free trips to California once every couple months. I could spend time with my family out there, and I could still work from home. And I kind of took a step back, and I was like, I still want to turn this down. Even though I'm using moving as an excuse, and this totally accommodates me moving, I still want to turn it down because it's not something that I love. So I ended up moving, and I did accept a remote contract with them. So it was like freelancing basically for them for a year or so. But I just shifted into freelancing, and I built my own business, and I started doing things that I really enjoy doing, right? So I've been doing this it's been about 9 years, I think. And I have done every different type of freelancing. I've made every mistake that you can possibly make. And I finally found something that I'm really passionate about. I love getting up and doing this every day. I help people transition from that corporate environment into freelancing. It has made such a huge impact on my life. I love what I do, and I want to see other people doing it. Especially after I had my son, I feel like having that extra time and freedom and control over your schedule, it changes your life. It's incredible. I don't have to choose between my family and my employer. I don't have to compromise my values and my morals. I get to choose who I want to work with and the work that I want to do. And the work that I'm choosing now is helping other people do that, helping other people find a niche, find something that they're really passionate about, really good at, and that they want to wake up every morning and do. So so that's what I do, and that's basically how I got there. Hi, thanks everybody for joining. I see Mary, Molly, Brandy, Pete, John, Cronin, hey, Catherine, Devin, Rudy, Paul, Tommy Booth, Sue Davis. I actually kind of mentioned you earlier. I was talking about making friendship bracelets. That's funny. Chris Natton, Troy, Sean Smith. Hey, Jess. Hi, Lauren, Francis, Amanda, Kristen, Michael, Jason, Trisha, Kelly, Troy, Duddy. Hi, Lindsay, Bill, Kevin, Wayne. There's my brother. Hey, TJ. Randy and Dan, thanks to you guys for joining. If you're watching the replay, #replay. And if anything that I said, if it's relatable, if it sounds like something that you want to explore, or you have any questions or whatever, feel free to reach out to me, send me a message. This is something that I love to do. And even if, I can't help you, I really want to help identify, why you identified with this, and what areas maybe you can shift into. So yeah, reach out anytime, shoot me a message. All right, thanks. I hope you guys have a great day.